Keep watching. Keep it meltdown. Leave it like that.
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Rapid Dawn right here on Rapid TV. This is the Tuesday's edition, the 12th of May, 2026. If I say he's moving pretty fast now, Victor will tell me he's moving how he's meant to move.
Wait,
how do we know what is meant to be? But anyways, my name is Martha Alu.
And of course, my name is Victor. Okay, good morning to you and welcome to Rapid Dawn. We're so excited that you're here this morning to join us on the conversation. And truly, lots of things are already happening in Nigeria, especially within the political scene. Very interesting moment.
Very interesting moment. Now, we have had a number of political parties here on the show. We've had ADC, right. We've had PDP, we have had APC, a number of political parties we've had here. But you know, one thing is we're either talking about the chaos in Labour Party, we're talking about the chaos in ADC, one of those parties, and they keep consistently claiming that nothing of such is happening. Right. But one of the parties we haven't seen that from, any legal battle from, would be the APC, and that is because it was an agreement between the members of the APC in the House that no one takes the party to court.
Okay.
Now, 30 of its members in Anambra broke that law and took the APC to court, instituting legal action against the party. The party, in response to this, expels all 30 members and then fines them 20 million naira.
Well, again, interesting time it is. To an extent, the APC have tried as much as possible to curtail their issues, right? Even when they talked about the sales of the forms and those that were to vie for various positions, it was more of an internal crisis that they were having. But as much as possible, it wasn't as loud as other parties' issues were that loud at the point. Again, because they learned to curtail the whole situation, basically, And I think this action as well being taken is just a step further to state that, hey, whilst we understand the concept of internal crisis, I mean, taking it away from the House, it's not
taking it to court.
It's not accepted within the party, and that's just the message I see that the APC is passing in this particular manner.
Very strong message. And you know, when we had the PDP here, I asked a question. You claim a certain person is destabilizing the structure of your party.
Yeah.
What did you do when you first noticed it? Don't let it get overboard before you start to act against what that person has done. Personally, I think that this is how to keep a house in order, or to keep in check. But certain analysts have argued that members of the APC are being bullied to keeping quiet and resulting to accepting whatever happens within the party when the party bigwigs decide. But the truth is, you have a choice. It's either you remain in the party or you walk away from the party. If you cannot abide by the rules of the party, walk away from the party. And I'm hoping, or I'm saying that if most of these political parties who are trying to come up together or team up together to produce a candidate or to be a very solid, how do we call it now? A solid opposition party, need to learn the coordination of this party or the order that goes on within this party, whether bullying or not. But we seem to see that these are the only people that have their houses or their house in order at the moment, and maybe the NDC. Now, we learned something very funny about the NDC, about how he put up the structure. You know, it might just be speculations unless he comes out to say it by himself that these are the things that he did. But the structure he put in place keeps him keeps everybody in check by him, you know. So litigations might not be heard of because you came and decided to be a member of the party, and his house happens to be the headquarters of the party. So you go over to his house to get your membership card, of course,
meetings.
and meetings, and you are escorted to the gates, you know. So this person or this political party now, we're saying, maybe have learned from the mistake of others. Now, analysts say you don't need to learn from your own mistakes. Sometimes you need to learn from the mistakes of others. But he's tightening the ropes. Let's see if any sort of litigation or the chaos that followed the members who left their parties to his party happens to be welcome in his party as well.
Well, we'll look out for that and see what exactly happens, you know. But again, still talking about the crisis in various parties. You know, we've had conversations, especially with ADC members, and we will ask the right questions. Are you having internal crisis? They will always say, no, we do not have. Are you having legitimate leadership crisis? They will give us the answer as to say, no, we do not have all of those particular issues. As a matter of fact, they have all emphatically said that the APC, you know, is the one, or are the ones that are basically fighting against the other parties. In their words, you know, they keep saying that the APC is looking out for a one-party system, you know. But we'll ask the question, what is the structure that you have? For instance, the ADC coalition, right? We've always asked them, what was the structure you had in place? What was the ideology that you had in mind when you came together to form a coalition, you know? And you get to hear stories, you get to hear answers like, well, we just want to unseat this current administration. Unseat the current administration. What then are you bringing to the table, all right? And most of this questions, we've not really gotten the concrete answers to these questions every time we have these conversations with members of, you know, the ADC, with members of the PDP. Again, the PDP are still in faction. However, they'll come out and still say to you that, hey, we don't have a faction, right? The Wike-led bloc is doing their thing. As a matter of fact, they've already pegged the nomination for presidency, you know, at a certain amount. I think it's 90 million naira now because they reviewed downwards, right? And again, there's the Turaki-led faction of the PDP, you know, who are still trying to, you know, do stuff within the party system. Now, the PDP said they're going to be on the ballot, but which part of the PDP will be on the ballot? Is it the Wike-led PDP or the Turaki-led PDP that will be on the ballot rather? These are the questions that we're asking. You know, but very recently as well, this morning precisely, I was listening and I was watching Rabi Kwankwaso being interviewed by Charles, you know, from Arise Television, and he was talking about the zoning from the by the NDC right now to the southern region. And Rabi Kwankwaso seems to be very okay with that at this point in time, you know, because you know the speculation, the OK ticket, that is Obi Kwankwaso ticket, especially because both of them moved down to the NDC very recently, and talks and questions have been asked. Who is now going to be the presidential candidate and who is going to be the vice? Now, from the zoning, there are speculations that it is possible now that is going to be an Obi Kwankwaso ticket within the NDC. Right, that is to say that it's being zoned to the south according to what the NDC has done, of course, during their convention. But let's see what happens eventually. Are they going to be going through with all of the agreements, you know, in this coming election? That we're going to find out, of course, as the whole thing unfolds even in the coming days.
Well, the OK ticket sounds good.
Well,
the name though.
Right.
But Atiku seems to have a problem with the zoning of the NDC, and he was warning about, you know, some of the repercussions of zoning. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you're not there.
Yes,
you're on the ADC, so stay in your party and make these decisions for your party. Now, Business Day did an extensive report about the billions of naira that has been invested in the water infrastructure in the FCT. Now, regardless of those amounts of money, you know, invested in the water infrastructure, there is still poor supply of water within the FCT. We had an SSA here to the president and Ortega, and we had a conversation where we were talking about power supply and water supply, and he said, you know, that he hasn't experienced anything of that in the FCT. Now, surprised to say that these reports, extensively done by Business Day, by the way, you know, the findings reveals rapid urbanization, aging infrastructure, incomplete transmission network, climate pressures, operational inefficiencies, and governance challenges as major factors behind the crisis. Now, recent water projects, I'm looking at the report here, and it says recent water projects undertaken by the FCT administration have gulped about 155 billion naira, including 470 million naira, 65 billion in brackets, Greater Abuja Water Supply Project, and the rehabilitation of the Phase 2 water treatment plant at Lower Usman Dam. Other projects are 90 billion naira Buhari Township Water Supply Project and planned rural water expansion project in area councils, supported through Chinese financing and UNICEF partnerships. Now, after that, Mohammed Dan Hassan, he was a former executive director of the FCT Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Directorate. He spoke to Business Day, and according to the conversation that they had, Abuja's water infrastructure has not kept pace with the population growth. So regardless of the population growth, the water supply remains the same within the FCT. Right. Families are expanding. The FCT is expanding because take a look at this. Insecurity in Plateau, just Plateau, insecurity in Benue State, insecurity in Niger State. These are all neighboring communities to the FCT. Right. And people from these communities have said they will continue to flood the FCT if that is the only place that they find safe. So, off data, maybe taking a look at what all of these people have said and what these communities have experienced, people will definitely look for the safest place to be. The FCT is the closest to them, which happens to be one of the safest places as we speak. So, whether we like it or not, the population within the FCT is increasing.
It is.
And if the water supply within the FCT is not commensurate to the number of people within this city, then we will definitely experience shortages. Now, when Hassan was explaining, he talked about economic migration, urban expansion, increased pressure on existing facilities. That's one of the reasons that we have the shortage of water supply. And in his words, the influx is not commensurate with the rate of development. 155 billion naira. This is just the FCT, and the FCT is not even the biggest city in Nigeria. It's not, the FCT is not the most populated city in Nigeria, but we still have issues with water regardless of the resources that are being pumped into these areas. So I think it's important that the government looks into this. We cannot be having basic problems as water supply and electricity or power supply within the FCT. It's not justifiable for other regions, but this is the Federal Capital Territory. There's something that distincts it from other cities, right? But I mean, this is pretty much the update. I don't know what the water situation is
within my area. I've shared with you certain stories, right? Sometime last month, 2 months ago, even towards the end of last year, I did tell you my ordeal. You know, how I had to get onto a little stream within my area, and that's where we could all get water, because at some point people were not dependent on borehole, right? And if you don't have the borehole close to you, or the local people, they call the Marua people, right, to help you get water, it becomes very difficult for you to get water, right? And that I actually faced towards about 2 months ago, towards the end of last year. I had my own ordeal when it came to water, you know. But again, very recently there's been a little bit of improvement, you know, here and there. But again, beyond the fact that the water is scarce, sometimes when you have this water, it's also difficult for you to even drink the water
because it's not clean enough.
Because it's not clean enough. In fact, some of this water, I mean, the one I use basically in my place, right, it has this smell that you won't be able to try to drink the water. The best you can do with it is wash your clothes, and of course probably have a bath with it. You still will have to treat the water for you to have a proper bath with it. Now that is the level of untrust or mistrust rather that I have, you know, for that particular water. Again, another challenge I see is that proactiveness is a big time issue here, where many times the federal government, the state government, the local government, and the ministries, departments, and agencies, you know, that are responsible for provision of water and of course electricity, they fail to be proactive in this time and era. Many times they see that these are challenges that are here. Again, they've noticed the problem. There is that massive migration into the FCT. What then do you need to do to ensure that as more people are coming into the city, the provision for water is made available? Very recently, I saw within the Kubwa Express Road that I think some pipes are being laid across. Is this going to serve the entire community? Is this pipe being laid to ensure that there's water to more household, or we're just seeing people opening up grounds and then was saying the pipes here and there. The complaint about water, lack of water in the FCT, is something that is not supposed to be heard of.
At
I mean,
all.
especially because most part of the FCT use the water board. So why then do we struggle with water, and why people are paying for it?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, honestly. And like you said, I'm hoping that the necessary bodies address this issue.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that rely solely on water board. But for some, there is... you can interchange water board and boreholes, but if there's no water, then you can't pump water.
Exactly. Not.
Okay, so
there's no light.
There's no light. The cost of fuel is really expensive. I mean, we need relief at some point.
We do.
You know, in one area at least. But yes, these are some of the headlines of the things happening in Nigeria. Let's do a quick rundown of what you'd expect for the show this morning. We start off with Today in History, where we dig out deep histories that are shaping and reshaping your understanding of the world that we live in. And then to News Study, unearthing discoveries and breakthroughs reshaping our understanding of the world. Next on the line would be Did You Know? We call the light bulb moment here, where we reveal surprising facts, hidden truths, and little known wonders that spark curiosity and expand your perspective. Of course, the health tips is your daily dose of wellness wisdom, from smart habits to expert-backed advice. And then on Tech Talk, we give you breaking innovations, gadgets, and digital shifts shaping tomorrow's world. Right after the Tech Talk at 7:30, we move on to the review of the Nigerian national dailies. At 8 o'clock, it is Human Chronicles. 9 o'clock or 8:30 rather, Victor Ijoma brings you the latest scores and the thrilling highlights from the world of sports. And at 9 o'clock, we're back in the studio for the big conversation. We'll go out on a very quick break, and when we're back, we'll keep up with this conversation. Please do stay with us.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
We're following through with the rundown of the show right immediately, and we move on to
Today in History.
Of course.
And of course, on Today in History, this day, May 12th, 1987, the military government led by General Ibrahim Babangida changed the name of the University of Ife. Of course, that's the Great Ife. And they changed it to Obafemi Awolowo University in honor of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Chief Awolowo was born in 1909 and was the first premier of the old western region of Nigeria, and was known for his strong support for education and development. The university was originally founded in 1961 by the government of Western Nigeria under late Chief Samuel Ladoke Akintola. Academic activities officially began in October 1962 under the name University of Ife. But today, the institution is one of Nigeria's most respected universities, and of course it is located in Ile-Ife, Osun State, and sits on over 11,000 hectares of land. Again, on this day in history, Babangida renamed the Great Ife to the Awolowo University, the Obafemi Awolowo University rather, in honor of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Moving on, Japan trials new drug that could regrow human teeth, ending dentures and implants forever. Does that mean we can have more candies? Now, the TRG 035 could become one of the biggest breakthroughs in dentistry. The treatment, developed by Torgem Biopharma, with research linked to Kyoto University, is designed to block a protein called USAG1. Now, that protein normally limits tooth development, so it blocks it. So blocking it may allow hidden tooth buds to activate and grow again. In animal studies, of course, these trials go through or tried with the animals first. Now, in animal studies, the approach was already triggered, or it had already triggered new tooth growth in mice and ferrets, raising hopes that one day it could offer an alternative to dentures and implants. But the human side is still very early. So phase 1 trials began in late 2024 with about 30 adult participants, mainly to test the safety and dosage, not to prove whether it actually regrows teeth in people. So for now, there is still no confirmed evidence that the TRGO35 can regrow human teeth. Even in the best case, this is not expected to reach the public until about 2030. Although these trials have gone through with the mice, they regrew the teeth of the mice or the tooth of the mice, but for humans the trials are a bit complicated yet. So yes, we have to wait till 2030 to see how much of a plan this is.
And that's just 4 years from now anyway, so it's not that far.
4 years. Wow.
Yeah, 2030 it is. Right. Of course, let's move on to Did You Know? And on Did You Know, we saw that in the late 1950s, pregnant women were told that this particular drug, thalidomide, was safe. But of course, the picture you see on your screen is what the drug did to their children. Now, doctors believe that this drug makers, doctors and drug makers actually believe that this drug was safe for pregnant women. But sadly, the drug caused thousands of babies around the world to be born with severe birth defects. Many children were born with shortened or missing arms and legs, while others had problems with their ears, eyes, heart, and other internal organs. More than 10,000 children in over 40 countries were affected before the drug was removed from the market in 1961. This particular drug was a tragedy, and of course it was later changed. It changed how medicines are tested and approved worldwide, especially drugs meant for pregnant women. And I think that's the reason most times now, most of these researchers, we have to take their time, follow certain processes to ensure that these drugs are safe for human consumption, so it doesn't have this kind of effect no more on women, children, and various families as it is. But yes, that's what we have for you. Did you know?
On Health Tips today, we're talking about skincare misconceptions. There are a number of them, but let's start with the very first. Clear skin starts with correct information. Many people follow skincare advice from social media or friends, but not everything works for every skin type. In fact, people will come and tell you, if you are battling acne, then you should use tretinoin. If you are battling this, then you should use niacinamide. But sometimes those materials or those products are not compatible with your skin. So clear skin rather starts with correct information. You either want to see a dermatologist or an esthetician. One of these people can prescribe to you the skincare products that fit your skin. Now, misconception: oily skin does not need moisturizer. This is one of the misconceptions that you'd hear people talk about. In fact, they will now start to use products that would address the oily nature of their skin. Salicylic acid is one of those products. Now, the reality is oily skin still needs hydration. If you skip the moisturizer, it can make the skin produce more oil. So rather than skipping the moisturizer, look for products that address the reduction of the production of oil on your skin, or products that can help mattify your skin. Now, moving to the next misconception: natural products are always safe. The reality is natural ingredients can still irritate the skin or cause allergic reactions depending on individual sensitivity. Again, it boils down to your skin type. Next misconception is washing your face more often clears acne. The reality is overwashing can strip the skin of its natural oils and worsen acne by increasing irritation and oil production. So overwashing your skin can strip the skin and worsen acne. Acne is not treated by overwashing your skin. There are products that you use, product formulations that can be used to address acne. The next misconception is toothpaste or lemon clears pimples quickly. These can damage your skin barriers and cause burns or irritation instead of treating acne. Right, moving on. Healthy skin is consistent care. Good skincare is about consistency, using suitable products and understanding your skin type, not quick fixes. For a lot of us, we go use this tropical cream or this tropical steroids, and using steroids for a long period of time poses a serious health threat to you as the user. That's why you cannot just go to the market and buy any skincare. Because it worked for Mr. A does not mean it will work for Mr. B. Mr. A and Mr. B have different skin types and they have different skin issues. One person might be dealing with eczema and the other might be dealing with acne. You cannot use an acne treatment for an eczema treatment, and you cannot use an eczema treatment for an acne treatment. And some of us, what we do is we buy these products today, and when we buy these products, we use it for a period of 1 month, and we just automatically believe that we have not seen results, so we dump it and go to another one.
Right.
But for those skincare to actually work, you need patience, you need consistency, and you need to give it time. These are some of the misconceptions about skincare and a few things that you need to know in applying skincare on your skin.
All right, thank you, skin therapist. Let's move on to Tech Talk this morning. Let's begin with the first story. Now, most of us know Truecaller, right? And right now, Truecaller has announced plans to cut about 70 jobs. That is nearly 15% of its workforce, after recording a drop in revenue and profits in the first quarter of 2026. Now, the company said that its earnings were affected by lower advertising income, changes in advertising algorithms, the crackdown on real money gaming apps in India, and tensions in the Middle East. Well, according to Truecaller's Q1 2026 report, net sales dropped by 27% to 362 million Swedish krona, about $39 million US. And revenue from India, its biggest market, fell by 41%. Advertising revenue also dropped sharply by 44%. Well, speaking during the company's earnings call, CEO Rishit explained that the company made a lot more money during the 2025 Indian Premier League season because gaming companies spent heavily on adverts at the time. Truecaller is widely known for helping users identify unknown callers and block spam calls. And so this particular development now shows how changes in digital advertising and tech regulations can greatly affect global tech companies. And of course, Truecaller is not left behind, as they plan to cut about 70 jobs, which is nearly 15% of Truecaller's workforce. Away from that particular story, the federal government says that the right conditions have not been put in place to improve telecom services across Nigeria. Now, according to the government, it is now the responsibility of telecom companies like MTN Nigeria, Airtel Nigeria, Globacom, and T2 to solve network problems and provide better service for Nigerians. The government also stated that the Nigerian Communications Commission has been fully empowered to monitor telecom operators, enforce service standards, and ensure that companies comply with industry rules without interference. And this particular statement comes after many Nigerians continue to complain about poor network signals, dropped calls, slow internet speed, and unstable connectivity across different parts of the country. This complaint has become an anthem in Nigeria, where almost everyone complains about the slow internet, the poor services, the bad network. I mean, on all of these telecom companies in Nigeria, not just one of them, I mean all of them. If you're not complaining about the MTN, you're complaining about the Airtel, you're complaining about Globacom, all of these particular telecom companies have a share of their own complaints that they face in Nigeria, and it's high time that they are actually being held accountable to ensuring that there is proper internet and call services here in the country, Nigeria. As simple as that.
You know, the most painful thing about this whole thing is the fact that we are talking about when the Senator Adams Oshomole and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio were in that heated argument about, you know, redrawing DSTV and MTN from Nigeria. We kept talking about the fact that, people, we cannot pay as you use. By the way, that is what the case is in other countries. It's just Nigeria that whether you use or you don't use, your DSTV is going to be gone. You know, we don't have light to watch it, and then sometimes we don't even have time because there's traffic and you know, a lot of other things which should legitimately be the reason that you allow a pay as you use service here in Nigeria. We say that, you know, and then we say South Africa, that's how, but MTN is doing the exact same thing. And I'm saying that because sometimes when you buy data for 1 month, whether you use it or not, it goes.
Right.
And then it expires, right? Even without it expiring, it doesn't even get to 1 week.
Yeah.
You know, you will do a 20 gigabyte data and in 1 week it is done.
Finished.
That's if it is even still available. And we say it is a 1 month subscription plan. How is that a 1 month subscription plan? These are things that needs to be looked into. But I think we just let everything fly and everything go, and it has gone too far, and we're now trying to look at the consequence of retracing our steps, which might be quite a lot. Are we ready for that kind of change?
And that's the question. I think they've moved it from just the monthly plan or the weekly plan or even the daily plan to consumption plan right now, because that's the argument they use.
Even consumption plan. Consumption plan. What do you want to do with a 20 gigabyte data in, okay, maybe different industries, right? But as an individual, what are you using 20 gigabytes or 30 gigabyte data to do in 1 day? When you're not downloading stuff, you're just surfing the internet. This is my reality.
Truly.
You are just surfing what am I downloading? I'm just surfing the internet, you know, going to news platforms, watching the news and all of that. And then it goes. Doesn't make any sense.
Not at all. Well, of course, this is all we're going to be taking on this segment. We'll go out on a break and we'll come back to be time for the review of the Nigerian National Day List. To stay with us.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city, rooted in truth. driven by impact.
My name is Faith Dapper Joseph.
Name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arki.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Ben.
My name is Arthur James Bruce.
My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bitru.
I bet you already know that this
is Rapid Television.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live. Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets to startups and digital lifestyles, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on Rapid TV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning with our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future, breaking the shell. Start time solar.
But also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support, empowering us to do things that really matters. Start Times Solar, power your life.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We move now to the review of the Nigerian national dailies, and we're starting off with the Daily Independent newspaper. The major headline talks about the cost of living crisis as it hollows out Nigerians' insurance sector as Nigerians go for only mandatory vehicle cover. The cost of living crisis hollows out Nigerians' insurance sector. Moving on, Ramaphosa condemns attacks on foreign nationals in South Africa. And I saw a video where a lady was doing an analysis of the xenophobic attacks this is specifically now on IG. She was talking about the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Right. And she took the liberty to go on Google to check what xenophobia is or xenophobic attack is, and was just basically, aggression towards foreigners, And she said, South Africans are not xenophobic in nature, because if they are, they will be fighting the foreigners. We are Africans, so we're all Africans, so you cannot call us foreigners. And it was interesting in that video, it was interesting to find out that there is a city or a town in South Africa that South Africans cannot go to. There's a white men live in that city. South Africans cannot go to that city.
The black South Africans, you mean?
Not white South Africans. I'm talking about white men live in that city, and the South Africans are not allowed to go into that place. And she says, if your problem is foreigners, those are your problem. Those people over there are your problem, not Africans, and that they are Afrophobic. It wasn't funny. I mean, the situation isn't funny, but I mean, it was making a bit of sense to me, because why are you fighting someone from your own? It's just like it's your brother.
Right.
And South Africans are also in other parts of the world. It's not like all South Africans live in South Africa. They came to Nigeria for the AMVCAs. We could have retaliated those attacks that happened, in South Africa. But there was peace, there was coordination, and they were free to move as much as they wanted to.
Of course.
That energy should be reciprocated when we also go to some African countries. Now, moving on, Adeleke deposes Osun monarch sentenced to prison in the US. And INEC to mobilize 1.4 million core members for 2027 election. They should also be provided with security as well. APC denies disqualifying Fubara loyalists for Rivers Assembly. And Nigeria's headline indicators stabilize, but fiscal pressures persist. NESG. Tinubu appoints Famadewa SA on Homeland Security, and the federal government scraps UTME requirement for NCE applicants. Pegs varsity cutoff mark to 150, poly at 100.
Okay.
Now, I know that there have been talks as to whether examination is the true test of knowledge.
Right.
But at some point, this also is a test of knowledge. Whether or not it's a true test of knowledge is where the conversation will be about. Now, when this was announced, I did see, educators and some analysts come out to talk about the fact that this will decline the quality in our university systems and our tertiary institution or in tertiary education systems. If the UTME, a person cannot score more than 150 to 200 in their UTME, and there have been lots of arguments about whether or not the cutoff mark should be reduced or should be increased at all.
The cutoff mark is not even the problem that we're having in the education system to start with. And I mean, educators and various analysts coming out to say that the cutoff mark is going to reduce the quality of studying in the tertiary institution. Again, it has nothing to do with that. Right now, those that scored 200 and above, are they getting the required education from the tertiary institutions? If you look at it from that particular
angle, are they giving the course that they want to study?
That's it. So if you look at all of this together, you see that first the education sector has to do a whole lot of work to even first of all improve the quality of learning that we have in the sector, and that's on one side. And I think the cutoff mark being reduced is also an encouragement to many persons to get into school. And I think it's a good way to go, if you ask me. Right? It's a good way to go.
It's like everyone should get into school.
Yeah, everyone should get it. I mean, those that are interested to go into school, I mean, should be able to get into school as much as they want.
Whether they qualify to getting or not. This is a whole argument.
So they are bringing it to 150. So if you score 150, that gives a qualification. If you score 100, you get into the polytechnic. The alternatives to the college.
JAMB is over what? Over 500?
I think it's 500, yeah.
And 150 over 500, you think it's pass mark enough for students to get into the university?
So they're going to have to review every other thing that they will review, within that particular education sector. I mean, there are people who actually got into the university without even getting the 200 and above cutoff mark to start with, right? And many times, some say the whole argument is just broad on its own, but I just think that cutting it down, it's not entirely a bad thing. It's not entirely a bad thing. But I think it's just important that we look at all of the structures and as much as possible improve the quality of learning and get to also encourage those that want to get into school to get into school.
Now that we've made mention of this, I think this would be interesting to be like a proper conversation should be had about it.
Definitely.
Now, Nigeria, EU, WHO scale up response to 4 major disease outbreaks, and fresh crisis loom as ASU accuses the federal government of breaching 2025 pact. These are the headlines on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper.
And let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. On the Nigerian Tribune, Jet A1 airfare surge looms amid airline route network courts. Airfare surge looms amid airline route network courts. I want them, the coup against Tinubu with fair, Islamic cleric. Video confession played in court. Page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune. We're going to get more details of this particular story, talking about the coup plotters that have been tried in court. An Islamic cleric came out to say that he warned that the coup against Tinubu will fail. After CTC from American court, Osun governor deposes are paid to Modu over fraud. If you travel down to River State, it says fate of Fubara's men hangs in the balance. A list of 33 cleared aspirants, 65 disqualified, others in circulation. And screening committee secretary disowns list. Report not before National Secretariat. Asked aspirants have right of appeal. APC National Secretary making that statement. ACF orders forensic audit over alleged 1.4 billion naira endowment fraud transfers. And UTME, Oweye, and emerges overall best West 372 marks. Oweye, Jesudun Sin, emerges overall best with 372 marks. And federal government sets 150 benchmark for varsity admission. Court hears fresh application in suit seeking to deregister ADC Accord. Others. On the health column, eating eggs could cause Ashesmear's risk by 27%, according to researchers. But these are the headlines on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
On the Punch newspaper, the federal government, World Bank in talks over second largest $1.25 billion loan. Loan approval expected 6 months before 2027 presidential election. The World Bank flags high political risks ahead of 2027 polls. NESG warns Nigeria's debt outlook remains troubling. Still on the Punch newspaper, Tinubu governors eulogize Fasoranti at 100. This is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Adeleke deposes Osun monarch after U.S. conviction, and oil hits $104 as U.S.-Iran peace deal fails. 17 foreigners rescued in Lagos anti-trafficking operation. And about the Rivers Assembly, Fubara loyalists reject APC screening report. A 2027 presidency, Atiku's Northern Ticket campaign faces resistance. That is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on, NNPC, NUPRC remit 322 billion naira, $116.9 million after Tinubu's order. And coup plotters reached out for spiritual cover. Cleric. ISIS moves operations to West Africa, U.S. warns. These are the headlines on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
Moving on to the New Telegraph. Port reforms. Single window filter as 750 billion naira worth of cargoes trapped. Talk about the Middle East crisis. Oil price hit $105 per barrel. Oil price hit $105 per barrel. Admissions outside JAMB illegal. Minimum entry age still 16 years. Federal government says admissions outside JAMB illegal. Minimum entry age still 16 years. And the federal government pegs 150 minimum score for varsities, colleges of nursing, and 100 for polytechnics. Exempts NCE candidates ND in non-tech agri courses from UTME. Irrelevant courses disquiet as policy stirs controversies. Well, page 3, 5, 14 to 16 of the New Telegraph is where you get the details of this particular story. Bandits kill 30 travelers in Zamfara highway ambush. Tinubu in Nairobi for multilateral discussions with fellow African nations. We will mobilize 1.4 million core members for 2027 polls, INEC. We will mobilize 1.4 million core members for 2027 polls. This is coming from INEC. ASU threatens fresh strike over unimplemented 2025 pact. And Trump says ceasefire on life support as Iran standoff deepen. Strait remains closed. And court hears fresh applications in suit seeking to deregister ADC, Accord Party, and others, and to hear the suit seeking to bar Jonathan May 15th. Xenophobia. Federal government warns Nigerians as South Africa begins crackdown on illegal immigrants. And their consumption shows dementia protection potential, according to study. But these are the headlines on the front page of the New Telegraph.
On the Daily Sun newspaper, you'd see rules for the 11th Assembly. The Senate sets 14-day deadline for senators-elect to be sworn.